Hi, my name is Joe Sherrard. I am 55 years old. I am a dairy crop beef farmer, mainly dairy, and I am a baby boomer.
Jason Taylor. My age is 45. I'm a Gen Xer. We're the greatest generation. Occupations, I'm an economics professor.
My name is Kim Kingshot. I'm 50 years old, which makes me part of Generation X, and I work as a piano accompanist.
My name is Josh Statley. I'm 19 years old. I'm a college student, and I'm part of the millennial generation.
My name is Kirsty. I'm 23 years old, and I work in human resources at an advertising agency, and I am a millennial.
I went from high school into college. My dad had started a business as an electrician in order to pay for my college. So I saw that he was able to, make plenty of money to pay for my school. And as soon as I got out of college, I had a job. So I wasn't thinking about the economy. I guess in retrospect, I just assumed I'll get my degree, I'll get a job, I'll make as much money as I need, just the way my parents had. So I didn't contemplate it. I just assumed everything was going to work out fine.
That was the 1990s. The economy was doing really well in the 90s. Unemployment was really low. This was before all the terrorism and all. Terrorism's always been around, but before September 11th. So, the economy was doing great.
Well, before I had a full-time job or the part-time jobs that I have done, I used to think the economy was kind of in a bad place because of the housing market crash. My dad was always telling me things about it, and that's kind of my perception of it before I was able to enter the workforce.
Prior to entering the workforce, I think the biggest time that I really started noticing things about the economy was in 2008 when things got really bad. I started noticing the changes and how it directly affected my family. I come from a very blue-collar family, and so it directly negatively affected my family, and so I started noticing the changes and how it was affecting my family and people around me.
Well, overall, I think right now the economy looks pretty good. The stock market is high. Unemployment and interest rates are low. But since we're basically in a world economy, a lot's gonna depend on the trade deals, whether they get renegotiated in our favor or renegotiated at all. I don't know, but I think that's going to be huge going forward. As far as agriculture, which is what I know, it's pretty bad right now, and it's been bad for a few years now. Again, worldwide, pretty much overproduction of everything, especially dairy. So unless something happens there as far as something that affects production or we get a favorable trade deal in this country at least, the outlook for dairy in particular and overall farming is not good. Not anytime soon.
I'm still, optimistic. We've always been able to get jobs when we wanted them. We've always been able to pay all our bills. And I don't anticipate that anything will be different going forward.
Immediate future probably okay. Long-term future, have some concerns with the baby boomers.
I think things are going pretty well so far. I think that we have a lot more control over where the economy goes, so we might be able to improve it over time instead of having another heavy crash.
I think the future, in terms of the economy, I think the near future it is going to continue to be strong and on a rise. And I think that with baby boomers retiring, I think that is going to have a huge change on the economy and in the workplace. So with the employment rate really low right now, I think it already brings some challenges to, especially for me in human resources. I notice challenges with hiring, and I think it's only going to get worse as baby boomers retire.
We have, my wife and I both have Roth IRAs. We've had them for a long time. We've had the IRAs for a long time, I think since probably my 30s or so. and we switched them over to Ross, I don't know, quite a while ago. And we'll obviously have some Social Security, but I've never depended on Social Security. So the big part of it is going to be the IRAs. And obviously we own quite a bit as far as the farm goes here, but I don't know if that will ever actually be something we can sell and retire on, because that'll just get passed on to the next generation.
My very first job, we had the opportunity to, put money into a retirement account, and the employer matched up to a certain 5% or something like that. So I put 10% of my income in, the employer matched it at 5%, and I worked there for 10 years. So for 10 years, I was putting 15% of my income into a 401k, which has been, growing ever since then. When I quit that job after 10 years and stayed home with the kids, I obviously wasn't putting any money into a retirement account. And then the job I have now does not have any benefits. So, but the money that I put in those first 10 years has been growing and growing and growing. And then my husband's been doing the same thing. So, we're pretty good for now.
My retirement plan, basically just funding it myself. But yeah, I'm fortunate. I have a good job, good paying job, and I've got money that's squirreled away for retirement. I think I started pretty young, thinking about my 20s.
I don't currently have a retirement plan. If I were to have one, though, I'd probably invest in a 401k or a Roth IRA.
So my plans for retirement, I started investing in my 401k as soon as I was able to, and I broke down my budget to see how much I could afford to put into my 401k each paycheck. And in order, so I properly prepare for retirement, I'm going to reevaluate my budget, as I grow financially and become more, stable in my career, in order to be able to put more into my retirement fund. I think it's really important to start saving early on, and so, as a young professional, that is what I'm trying to do.
There seems to be quite a few of us. So I think that's going to put a pretty good strain on Social Security and the generation that has to fund that for us. So definitely your generation should not rely on Social Security for your complete retirement. You should always have something, a plan of your own. You should never rely on government for anything as far as I'm concerned, but particularly your retirement, you want to have something, a plan in place in case it's not there.
I guess I'm a little concerned that the whole Social Security thing isn't going to work, that there's going to be more money going out than coming in. I kind of like to just be able to manage my own money, to put my money into my own retirement account and just not have to plan on a pension or the government to pay anything. Just like I'll take responsibility for it. So I don't know. I'm not really hopeful about Social Security. I'm not really counting on it to be there. I'm just counting on the money I've put aside to meet my needs in the future.
The young and working, the way the system is set up, the young and working need to support the old and retired. That's the way it should be, right? When you retire, you still need to eat, you still need to have a place to live, you still need clothes. Somebody's got to produce those things, so there'll be fewer people producing for the people that are retired, so it's going to be more of a burden, I guess is the right word. Mm-hmm. I don't mean that as necessarily a negative thing, I love my parents and so on, but it'll be more work for the young and working to produce enough output to support the old and retired.
I think it's going to take a lot of people out of the workforce and put a lot of pressure on Social Security. So Social Security might not be something that people in my generation are able to bank on, but I think we'll be okay overall as far as the workforce goes.
So I think, one of the biggest changes we're going to see is who we're hiring. So, a lot of younger generations are very college focused, and it's getting harder and harder to hire, the trades and the blue collar work. So I think this is only going to continue to, get harder and become a challenge as the baby boomers continue to retire.